Hey everyone, my name is Jennifer, and I am a grateful recovering alcoholic addict. I'm here today to share my experience, strength, and hope with you, and I'm here to tell you my story. My clean sober date is 3/16/12. By the grace of God, I have a little over 4 years, and I would not have done it without the rooms of AA and NA. I don't normally go to NA, but I have. And I just prefer AA, but AA has gotten me through some really tough times. I have a great support network. I have a sponsor. I have two grant sponsors. I meet with my sponsor either weekly or on a bi-weekly basis, depending on our schedules. We are working on the steps. I go over the big book with her. I go to numerous meetings. I go on a lot of speaking commitments. I go to rehabs and detoxes, and I do go to AA meetings, but I like to go to rehabs and detoxes. I like to be with the newcomers, like fresh into sobriety. I want to be there to give them hope, that just give it time. And, once you get past the pain, it's a beautiful life. Your life is worth living. Sobriety, oh my God, I wish I would have known this years ago, but everything happens for a reason, and everything that I've done has made me who I am today. So if I didn't go through all that stuff, I don't know where I would be. I'd like to say I'd be in a better place, but I don't know. You know, Being an addict and an alcoholic made me a strong, independent woman, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm grateful for my experiences. Um, I am the third generation drunk in my family. Both my parents were alcoholic drug addicts. My father died to this disease back in '08. Unfortunately, my mother saw the light and came into the rooms a little after me. She has had a relapse, but for the last 4 years, she's really been sober, and I couldn't ask for anything more because my younger years and growing up was horrible with her. I hated her. I couldn't stand her. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. It was horrible. And I always swore I wouldn't be like her. And guess what? I almost became her. I embarrassed my daughter a handful of times, and I'm ashamed of it. I wish it never happened, but it did. And luckily, I woke up and smelled the coffee and realized I had a problem because I saved her from years of humiliation. But like I said, my mother is sober now, and we do have a good relationship. We don't have that lovey-dovey mother-daughter relationship, but we have our own special relationship. And she's really helped me out the last 4 years. If it wasn't for her, I don't know what I would have done. So they divorced at a very young age. My grandmother and my father had joint custody of me. My grandmother put me through Catholic school, and she did an awesome job. She was everything. She was mom and dad, because my grandfather was here, but he really didn't care for me since I was my father's daughter and I was a girl. Two strikes against me. So my whole life, he called me a two-bit whore like my mother. He called me fat and ugly, so I have a huge complex. I I've thought I think that I'm ugly. I'm working on that. I think that I'm fat. I am overweight, but I'm not what I think I am. And going to therapy now is helping me deal with that. I'm dealing with my self-esteem and my self-confidence, and I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, as we all are. Um, so from an early age, I was mentally, verbally, and emotionally abused by just my grandfather alone. And then a few years older, I was sexually abused by some friends for many years. I just didn't know how to say no. I was scared. And then I took that and I took that feeling and I hid it. And I was always trying to be someone else. I was ashamed and embarrassed of just everything. I hated my life. I hated my parents. They were divorced. They were drunks. All my friends had mommy and daddy together. They had money. They did things. So I was always trying to be someone else. Or I was always trying to hide. And I found a group of people that accepted me for me, and we all did the same thing. We all got high. So I think it started really 8th grade. I started smoking pot and drinking, and it escalated throughout the years. High school's a bit of a blur. I don't really remember it. Um, from the beginning, I was a blackout drunk, so I only remember bits and pieces of my years of using, which is probably a good thing because I did things that I would never do now. Drugs and alcohol turn you into a person that you never thought you were. Like Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. That was me. Um, I liked alcohol because it got me talking. It made me sociable. Like in the beginning, it was great. Like, have a few drinks, you're at a party, you're great. But see, I couldn't stop. The minute I put something in my body, it was all over. I drank to get drunk. I drank for the effect. I could never just have one or two from the get-go. So I've always been an alcoholic. It just took me a long time to realize it. I graduated high school by the skin of my teeth. I just went to go. I really didn't care. I attempted college. It didn't work. Um, I was more concerned with where's the next booze coming, where's the next party coming from. I thought it was a major accomplishment to say I could hang with the guys. That was the cool thing. And if you saw the guys I hung out with, you'd also know that I slept with most of the guys. Like, just disgusting things that I did. Now I can hang with the guys, and they're my brothers in the rooms, and I have not slept with any of them. Not at all. Years ago, yes. Now, no. And they respect me, and they love me for me, and they always tell me how proud they are of me, and I love them. It took me a long time to get to this point, though. So I got my first DUI at 19. Thought my life was over, so I decided to enlist in the Army. Um, that didn't work out because at my going away party, we were drinking and we were supposed to stay at a friend's house, but my best friend didn't want to. So out of the two of us, I was the more sober one. So I drove home. Meanwhile, I just got my license back. Duh, idiot. I I drove, got pulled over, got DUI number 2. Now, I could still go into the Army, but I had to take care of all those legal consequences. And in the meantime, while I was doing that, I met up with my sperm donor. Um, and I should have known that was a red flag. He just got out of jail. He's on parole, but he was bald with tattoos, and that was my type. So I went right for him, and I got pregnant. I thought everything was great. He told me things and I believed him, and it turned out to be a crock of shit. And I started smoking crack with him after the baby was born. Um, you know, we got evicted. I overdosed that year. We moved around. I was a drunk. We came back. I'm just giving you a synopsis of my life because this was the insanity. This was the dysfunctional lifestyle that I was so used to. And it would have continued. But let me see, early 2005. We moved back in 2004, and I went to school and I become a medical assistant because I've always been a waitress, and that it's a tough lifestyle. I love serving, but there's no security, and I got a little kid I got to take care of, and I got responsibilities. So I go to school, I become a medical assistant, and I get a good job. That doesn't stop my drug use, and I was always drinking. Every night I would have at least a 6 to a 12 pack, and I would pass out, as long as my daughter was okay. Then I would drink afterwards, and then I don't remember going to sleep. Again, I don't remember. Horrible. So, early 2005, I went on a binge with a friend of mine, and after like 3 or 4 days of not going to work, I called up my boss. She picked me up, and she took me to the local hospital where I signed myself in, and I went to detox for a week, and that was it. Um, what happened after that? I was told about AA, and I think I may have gone once or twice, but as I am with alcohol and drugs, I am with work. So instead of going and working on myself, I decided to just engulf myself in work, and I got 2 jobs. I had 3 jobs at one point. You know, I figured as long as I'm working, and I'm not drinking, I'm fine. And that was good for a little while. Let me rewind. Right after I got sober March of 2005. My brother killed himself in July of 2005. Drugs and alcohol took him out. He had gotten in trouble, and he was looking at a few years in jail, and he hung himself in the state penitentiary. I stayed sober, I think mainly because I had to take care of my mom and make sure she was okay because she really lost it at that time. So I got through my brother's death, which is going to be 11 years this year. It's actually in a couple of days, and I'm dreading it. Like, I'm fine, but it's my mom, you know. Um, Couple other family deaths, losses. I'm all right, you know. I just keep going. I work, keep going. Um, 2009, I believe, in the beginning of 2009, I I was burnt out from work, and I started not yeah, I was burnt out because I didn't do anything. I didn't go out, I didn't hang out because I didn't, trust myself. So I'm like, it's been 4 years, I can do this again. I could go hang out. So I started hanging out again, and little did I know, lo and behold, I hang out. My friends are drinking, I start drinking. It was a slow process, but actually not that slow. I quickly got to where I ended 4 years before that. Um, so 2009 was also when I lost my grandmother, and I was drunk for that. Um, I was drunk, and I continued to work, because that's what I thought was right. I'm just trying to remember certain details. I know I'm jumping all over the place. So later in 2009, my old high school sweetheart called me, and we reconnected. And this is the guy that I loved. Like I always, I always had dreams of us, getting back together and getting married and starting a family and this and that. But when you take an alcoholic like myself and a pill popper like himself and you put us together, it doesn't mix. And a year and a half into our relationship, after dozens of fights, arguments, stealing, lying, he overdoses and dies in my bathroom. Now, this hit me hard. This is the worst out of everything because, this made me hate God, who's my higher power. Why would God do this to me? Why would God take away all of my loved ones? Why would he do this to me, And I didn't like God for a while, and my drinking got even worse. I really went downhill. So he died in 2010. By August 2011, I got my third DUI. Now, there's 10 years between my second and my third, so luckily at this time they still have that 10-year law. So my third turned into my second, which was really good on my part because I only lost my license for 2 years. 2 years, tons of fines, surcharge, IDRC, mandatory meetings, and the wonderful breathalyzer, which I have right now until August 23rd, and it's a pain in my tuchus. Anyways, so I got the DUI. Again, my life is going down the tubes, Now let me tell you, while all this is going on, I'm still head of the household, I'm still working, I'm taking care of my daughter, I'm doing everything that I got to, but I guess I was burnt out, stressed out, so what do? I drink and I drug. I didn't drug yet. I enroll in nursing school, because after my grandmother had passed away, I needed a plan of security, so why not become a nurse? So I start school in September 2011, and I got sentenced with my DUI February of 2012. So now this is coming to the end of my run. I get my DUI, they take my license away, I have to go to meetings, And one thing I got to tell you, once you start going to meetings, you cannot get drunk or high the same way ever again. Because once you get the little seeds of AA in you, it's in your head. And as you're getting messed up, it's like, oh no, you shouldn't be doing this. This isn't right. Like, I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that I can't get drunk the right way anymore. But, it took me a while to realize that. So, I am what you call a caregiver, and I like to take care of people, and I always like to make sure everyone's all right. So I took my friend and her son in my house, and because she needed a place to stay. Now, I'm an alcoholic. I haven't, at this point, I haven't touched the hard drugs in close to 7 years, okay? So I thought I was pretty good. I'm not doing drugs, but I'm drinking. It's okay. Well, when I take her in, she is a pill popper and a dope head. And I told her as long as she doesn't bring the drugs in the house, that she could stay at my house. And everything was fine like the first week, second week. Slowly but surely she started bringing it in the house. And one day I came home from work. She's like, Jen, I got a surprise for you. And I'm like, what? She's like, I got this. And it was a big, juicy rock. Okay? What do you think I did? I went downstairs and I smoked crack until like the wee hours of the morning. Horrible. I was so disgusted with myself. I just, like, are you serious? I've come so far. And from that point until March 15th, I was on the run. Anything I could put in my body, I did. I was smoking crack. I didn't like to sniff coke at this point, Once you start smoking the rock, that's all you want. So I was smoking crack and doing dope. The only thing I didn't do was inject it. Thank goodness, because I'd probably be dead like some of my friends right now, and I'd probably be worse off. But anyways, for 3 weeks, I did anything that I could get my hands on, and it was horrible. And I saw what I became in 3 weeks. The 15th of March, I can't even tell you what happened. All I know is I was super drunk and super twisted, and that was it. I woke up the next day on the 16th, and I was done. So from that day forward, I have not found the need or the urge to pick up a drink or a drug. Thank God. So now, let's fast forward. So, okay, I start working a program. I get 2 home groups, because I'm an addict. I got to do more. So I get 2 home groups. I start service right away. I was the cookie lady for one group for close to 2 years. The other group, I really just went there at this time. I started going on speaking commitments after my 90 days, after I could. And, that's what I did. I went to meetings. I did service. I had a sponsor that I didn't use, just in name. And I thought that was okay. Hold on. Yes, I love the Sons of Anarchy, just by the way. So now this is 2012. So I'm doing all this, but I'm not really working on me. I'm going through the actions, I'm going through the motions, and I'm doing it right, but I'm not really doing it right. So if you don't change your way of thinking, you wind up doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing. And in 2013, my mom and I had an argument, and I decided to drive my car without a license because everyone was doing it, so I thought it would be okay. But little did I know that a multiple DUI offender, her consequences are a little more severe than just the regular non-license holder. So I get pulled over coming out of an AA meeting in 2013, and I thought I could beat it. I thought everything would be fine. Sorry, I got something in my eye. 2013. They kind of forgot about me for a while, and I thought I like beat it or whatever. I graduated nursing school in 2014, which I never thought I would do because working full time and going to nursing school part time is really tough. Like, I had every 11th day off. I had no life because it was either work or school, but I had to do it. Okay, and I was successful and I graduated. That was in 2014, May. September 2014, they start bringing me to court for this charge that I have. September 2014. Yes. December, despite all the paperwork and everything that I show the judge is like, I have no discretion. It's a mandatory 6 months in jail. Now, I've never been in jail in my life. The holding cell, yes, after a DUI, but I've never been in jail. Well, this girl turned 36 February 15th and then went to court February 23rd, 2015 to start my sentence of 178 days in the county jail. And it was horrible. Now, the months leading up to this, I thought of suicide, but I couldn't do it because my brother already did it, and I couldn't leave my daughter because my daughter's father is already a screw up. So I can't leave my daughter. Who's going to take care of her? Who's going to take care of my mother? So, luckily I think of others because that saved me. If not, I would have been dead. I thought of relapsing. I'm sitting on my back porch and the bar's not even that far away. And I'm like, if I go to the bar and I start drinking, no one's going to know. Only me. But only me would have been a problem. I didn't. What I did was I started talking about it. I stuck with my network, okay? And that really helped me. My guys, my brothers of AA, I don't know what I would do without them, okay? They got me through. So I went to jail. Sober, yes. This chick was sober when she got locked up. And it was the most horrible feeling ever to have those doors closed behind you and you can't do anything about it. But I did it. I put myself into a program. I stayed sober. I got myself a job. I cried. I cried a lot, every time I called. I had a lot of support. A lot of people were writing letters, so I wrote to people on a daily basis. I got phone calls. My mother, my daughter, and my uncle visited me on a weekly basis. That got me through it because jail sucks. It's its own little world, and some people are so used to it that they keep going back and going back and going back. Guess what? This girl, hell no. Since I got home, I don't break the law. No, no. I don't even jaywalk because anything to put me back into that place, that hellhole, I will not do. The only way I'll go back to jail is if I'm going to bring a message. And I have 2 more months before I could start going back to the county jail and bring them an AA meeting. And I plan on doing that. Because these girls, these women in jail need someone like me to share my experience, strength, and hope. Anyways, so I get through jail and I come home on a Wednesday. My friend from AA came over and was like, well, what are you doing? This was on Thursday. I said, nothing. He said, okay, you're coming with me. And I went to a meeting. I started speaking at meetings again. I started up again the day after I got home, and I've been going ever since. I now have a really good sponsor who I love, who I mentioned in the beginning, and I use her. I text her. I should do it more often, but I text her. We meet on a weekly, bi-weekly basis. We're working together on the steps. If I need her, she's there. And she tells me to use her more, and I feel like I'm bothering her, but really, you use your sponsor. That's what they're there for. You're supposed to call them and nag them and bother them, and I got to start doing that more. But I'm doing a lot better than I was. I still have the 2 home groups. I was a leader for one of them since I came home. Even before I left, I was the leader there. I just gave up that position because you know what? A new person needs it. It's all about the newcomer. I have time, not a lot of time, but the fresh new person needs this responsibility to, keep them connected. I go on lots of speaking commitments. My thing now is rehabs and detoxes. I love going there because I want to get you right then. I want to plant that seed of hope so that when you come out, you hit the ground running and you go to a meeting and you raise your hand and you say you're new and you get phone numbers. I want to be that person to get you started, I'm not officially sponsoring anybody yet. and my sponsor says I should, I feel that my higher power will tell me when to sponsor. I used to say that I would be a temporary sponsor, and one of my brothers was like, "That's not the right thing. That's discouraging the new person." So I've changed my attitude. If I get asked, I say yes. I give them my number. If they call me, they do. So far, I haven't gotten anything, but I'm actually going to a detox tomorrow, and then a rehab in the evening, and I do this to keep it green. I do it to remind me of where I came from, because as you could tell from my story, my memory stinks. So if I don't keep telling my story, I'm going to forget one day, and I'm going to be back where I started. And I don't want that. Right now, my daughter and I have a phenomenal relationship. She's 14, and this is a very tough age, okay? Teenagers suck, but I love my kid, and she loves me, and she's proud of me. Oh my God, she sent me a text on Father's Day, and it just made me bawl like a baby. How proud she is of me. How, it's just, oh, I'm getting all choked up right now talking about it, but she loves me, and I love her, and I keep it real with her. My grandmother's philosophy was, what you don't know won't hurt you. Guess what? Yes, it will. It hurt me. So I now tell my daughter everything to a point. As she gets older, I tell her more. My mom and I have a good relationship. I have a wonderful, wonderful support network of AA people that are like my family. I go to sober dances. I, you know, I do a lot of things. And like, after I got out of jail, I even signed myself up for IOP just to keep myself in check, which is good for my future, which I'll get to in a minute or so. But I go to IOP, so I go to group therapy once a week. I see a therapist every other week, and we're working on the things that make me want to escape from myself, make the things that make me want to numb myself. Because at one point in my life, I never thought that I could go a day without putting a chemical in my body, and now I don't. I go to sleep without pot. I go to sleep without any sleeping aid. And I never could do that years ago, or I didn't think I could. I'm learning to love myself. Okay? I I'm loving myself every day more and more. I try to stay positive. Um, I volunteer now. There's actually a recovery function coming up in my state. It's called Rock the Farm, and I'm excited to say that I'm going to be part of that event. I'm one of the volunteers for it, and I just think it's going to be a totally awesome experience. I'm going to meet tons of people, and it's all sober stuff, no alcohol whatsoever. You don't realize the fun you can have sober until you're sober. If you're new, you got to get over that hump. You got to get over that hurdle, and all right, I just lost my train of thought. Um, Sobriety can be so much fun. I I can sit with myself and like it. I enjoy sitting on my couch watching TV. I enjoy sitting out on my porch. Okay, now I'm just rambling, but these are the things that I do. I color, I garden, I pray. I volunteer at an animal shelter. All these things because I'm sober. If I wasn't sober, I wouldn't be able to do this. And I thank the rooms of AA for bringing me here. This year, 2016, so far has been the best year of my life. I got my license back in February 23rd, no, 24th, because it was a year after I got out of jail. No, a year from the date I was incarcerated, a year and a day. So I got my license back. I got that stinking breathalyzer, but you know what? It's my own fault. Normal people don't drink and drive and get in trouble. Normal people don't do stuff like that, and I'm not normal, and I had to learn the hard way. But I won't be doing this again. But never say never, because I said that before, and what happened, okay? So I'm taking it one day at a time. I got my license back. I got a really good job. I work at a doctor's office. I still have hopes and dreams of becoming a licensed practical nurse. I'm also a procrastinator, so I should have had my application out already. But I'm working on that. After this video, I'm actually going to write it because I meet with my therapist tomorrow and I need to have the final draft so we can send it out. Um, my road to becoming an LPN is a lot bumpier, but you know what? I'm going to do it. Um, That's another reason why I put myself in an IOP. We have a program here in New Jersey called RAMP, and I forgot what the acronym stands for, but you could look it up if you want. But anyways, so it's for people with, addiction, people with legal problems, and it puts them in a program like an IOP, but stricter, and random drug tests and meetings and all this stuff. So I'm like preparing myself for RAMP. So, and most likely, hopefully, the Board of Nursing will approve my application, allow me to sit for my boards, put me in RAMP, and allow me to become an LPN. I'm hoping that happens. And I'm praying. And I talked to a lot of people, and it possibly will happen, but I gotta send out that application, which I have to start working on. But anyways, now I'm really starting to ramble. But my life is so good right now. I love my life, and it's only getting better. And as long as I stay sober, it's going to continue getting better. I have a wonderful relationship with my family. I have wonderful friends in my life. I have everything that I need, and I'm happy. And you can be too. So if you or a loved one has a problem with alcohol or drugs, please seek help. There is hope. Hope. Hold on. The pain ends. You can do this. I know you can. You just want to do it. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you got something out of it. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.